Have you ever watched a movie or cartoon and thought, I've seen this somewhere before? If this has happened to you, relax. You're not alone. Every day there are copies and more copies of successful movies and cartoons. Like, have you ever noticed how Megamind and Despicable Me are similar? Like, they're both villains who throughout the plot show that they're not so bad after all, and both of them have childhood issues. Gru has problems because his mother didn't pay attention to him, and Megamind is an alien who wasn't raised by his parents, but rather by prisoners. Pretty similar, don't you think? Oh, and another detail, both of them are bald. Bald! Coincidence, right?
I think not!
That's why we've gathered more movies and animated series that are similar, and you might not even have an idea. We couldn't ignore the latest feud between Disney and DreamWorks. It's definitely one of those fights that really excite us animation film fans. Everyone knows that both stories have numerous similarities. Both are led by characters who actually live under the sea and have secrets they want to keep hidden at all costs. In fact, some characters from The Little Mermaid are basically in Ruby Gillman, but sort of in reverse. Ariel, the beloved heroine from Disney's animation, seems to have been hired to be part of the Ruby Gillman cast, but as the villain of the story. And Ruby is a kraken who bears many resemblances to Ursula, the villain from The Little Mermaid, but she's slimmer, younger, and of course, good-hearted. But it's undeniable that both films share many similarities in various aspects, even if it's not a direct copy. The Lion King and Kimba the White Lion. It's common for us to talk about times when Disney was copied, that's true. But what if the opposite happened? What if Disney copied a cartoon or a film? Would you believe it?
Nope.
No way.
Well, that's exactly what happened when Disney created one of the best children's movies of all time, The Lion King.
Wait, are you serious?
There's a Japanese anime series from 1965 called Kimba the White Lion, released 29 years before The Lion King. The inspiration is quite evident, you know. First of all, the name of the manga that originated the Japanese series is The Emperor of the Jungle. If you think it sounds similar to The Lion King, we think so too. Both animations feature a lion cub as the protagonist who loses their father, the leaders of the jungle they live in. Moreover, the names are practically identical, Kimba and Simba, because in this case, they have the same origin, which is the Swahili word for lion, Simba. There's definitely a clear connection between the two animations, but we have to agree that The Lion King is an, let's say, improved version of Kimba, which is why it has achieved and continues to achieve so much success to this day. The Silence and A Quiet Place. In 2019, Netflix released a film where a family with a hearing-impaired girl lives in a world where deadly creatures guided by sound are lurking at every moment and can attack them. We're talking about the silent... No, wait, hold on. I almost got confused.
You gotta be kidding me, bro!
Actually, this is A Quiet Place, because the synopsis is so similar that I thought it was the same film.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Well, folks, A Quiet Place is one of the best suspense movies of recent years, which was so acclaimed that it even got a sequel. But it was released in 2018, while this Netflix film was released the following year. Of course, there are differences between the films, like a weird cult and all, but the premise of both movies is definitely the same. In my humble opinion, it's a copy. Coraline and Wendell and Wild. Coraline is undoubtedly an animated film that has gained a legion of fans due to its slightly darker tone and captivating story. But what you might not know is that there's a film with numerous similarities to Coraline, although it's not a copy. The film's name is Wendell and Wild, and it features Kat as its protagonist. Perhaps the reason for all these similarities lies in the fact that both films were directed by the same person, Henry Selick. Coraline is from 2009, while Wendell and Wild was released recently in 2022. The first similarity is that both stories have girls as the protagonists, and both have dyed hair, Coraline with blue hair and Kat with green hair. Furthermore, both wear clothes of similar colors, with Coraline donning a yellow raincoat with a hood and Kat wearing a hoodie jacket that is also yellow. And the most significant common point is that both protagonists have dolls that connect them to the other world. But they are definitely two distinct and dark, yet entertaining stories. Oh, the music is also very similar. The tone and melodies.
My demons, my problem.
Swear it.
But they are certainly not copies, rather they share these common points, which is quite interesting. Also, comment down below if you've already watched these two films and which one you liked more. And if you feel like watching and comparing both of them, let us know. We're curious to hear your thoughts. The Guardians versus the Avengers. The Avengers was an absolute success, both critically and at the box office. Undoubtedly, the film marked a milestone in superhero movies as it brought together the most powerful heroes on Earth. Well, almost all of Earth, because they forgot to inform Russia. If they had coordinated with those guys, they would have sent their own super team, the Guardians, to take down Loki and all that. But I guess they didn't have the team's phone number. So, if you didn't know, Russia produced its own version of the Avengers called the Guardians. The Guardians consisted of individuals with superpowers that were quite different from what we're used to, but their goal was to protect the world from a very peculiar supervillain. The special effects were not bad in the first 5 minutes, but afterward, things got, well, let's just say they got pretty cheesy. It's not like it was made in someone's backyard or anything, but it certainly doesn't measure up to the Avengers. There's a guy who transforms into a bear, another who controls stones, one who's like Nightcrawler from the X-Men but with giant blades, and a woman who turns invisible and, if I'm not mistaken, creates force fields. The film is undoubtedly a copy of the Avengers. There's no denying it. Paul Blart Mall Cop versus Observe and Report. In 2009, a hilarious film called Paul Blart Mall Cop hit the big screens and was quite successful, even getting a sequel. We see the story of a simple mall cop who had tried to join the police force but didn't pass the physical exams. In the film, he has to save his mall, which has been taken over by a group of criminals. In Observe and Report, we can already tell from the title that it's similar. We see another mall cop who needs to prevent a guy from disturbing the order at his workplace. Both films are comedies, with the first one being more family-friendly and the second one being darker and even somber in some parts. There's no denying that there are many similarities between the two films. Perhaps it was just a coincidence. Coraline versus Caroline. As we mentioned before, Coraline and the Secret Door from 2009 is a film that left a lasting impression on many people's childhoods. And if you say Coraline quickly, it sounds like Caroline, doesn't it? That's exactly what someone noticed when they released Caroline and the Magic Potion. In 2015, a Spanish animated film was released, telling the story of a little girl who is the granddaughter of a healer and discovers a potion that allows her to fly with an umbrella. Indeed, the story doesn't have many significant similarities to Coraline and the Secret Door, but no one can deny the resemblance between the names and even the inspiration from the physical aspects of the two protagonists, fair-skinned with dark short hair. Oh, and both stories also have a cat accompanying the protagonist. In defense of Caroline, the film would have originally been called Brujerías, which translates to witchcraft in English, and the main character's name was Malva. Those who promoted the film worldwide thought it would be better to change the name and ride the wave of Coraline's success. This is definitely a suspiciously similar movie. Guys, these were the 8 movies that resemble each other. Some a lot, others only in certain parts, but there are some that are really blatant copies. Tell us which of these movies you knew or already have watched. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye-bye.